What's up guys, it's Punchy, back with another curse gear video, but this time I'm showcasing a curse technique that is one of the most unique in the entire game. So it's one of my favorites and probably the most interesting you could try out. Check it out and follow me along. This is the Grief Warden's curse technique, a royal technique and one of the rarest ones in the game. This was originally used by one of the school directors, Sumo, in the closed community of curse gear and was extremely iconic whenever it was used. I'd say it's probably the most accurate to the 10 shadows technique that Megami uses, but other than that, it's visually and conceptually unique in the Android style of CG. Anyway, let's break down the gameplay. With this curse technique, the user has access to 3 different Grief Wardens. They can each be summoned and activated by pressing R, but can be cycled through whenever you press E and R. You'll notice your character giving orders to them on the side of the screen, and they'll respond when acting. You get a bunch of feedback when swapping summons if you're out of cursed energy, when your summon has died, or when they're doing things, and it's a great flavor for the curse technique, and it does give some personality to each of the summons. Each of the Wardens do something different, but they all have some similarities at a base level. So for starters, most of the time they're targetable and killable, but right now it's kind of bugging, I don't know what's going on. And usually you can only have one summon active at a time unless the game starts tweaking, so you have to constantly swap and manage them correctly in combat. While some curse techniques only have one ability, this has more than 3, which can be used at any point during the fight, meaning that combat possibilities are basically unmatched. It really is the most active curse technique in the game that requires constant action from the user. Let's break down each Warden and explain how to use them. Anger, the Infernal Arm, or Brutavius, is your slow-moving damage dealer. He has the most HP out of all of the Wardens and helps us snipe from range. Far away from our enemy, pressing R launches a guard-breaking projectile that sends enemies flying and does decent damage. The damage here is probably the best out of the 3, but it's mostly used during combos or to get people off of you, and yeah, that's what it does. Additionally, if you're close to your target, Brutavius will slam down with a stunning burst that sets up combos, and this has Black Flash stun, so it really is a starter. He's really the summon you want to use to combo finish or just annoy people from range. Next up, with bargaining, the Lying Dealbreaker or the Baby, it's a small Jitliang that's perfect for pressure. With some of the lowest HP out of any of the summons, the Baby swings at players and can be used to grab them in place. This grab does very little damage to enemies, but it heals us for a small amount that definitely adds up during the fight. You'd be using this to stun enemies or capitalize off a combo, but the targeting is a little bit buggy. Finally, with Lady Dinell, this is our defensive unit. On summon, Lady Dinell will instantly take our place in any combo, meaning it's straight up and evasive. This can be used to escape anything and negate its damage fully, so you can be really techy if you know what you're doing. The R press of this summon forces her to absorb your damage while raising our own defense and gives us some sort of hyper armor. Additionally, Dinell throws hands and often guard breaks with criticals, so it's pretty good pressure as well. I think you have to have a very positive KD with this curse technique to unlock Lady Dinell since her standards are so high, but it's very powerful if you know how to use her correctly. The CT stat spread of Grief Wardens is quite weird, forcing us to invest heavily into evolution to unlock our summons. The only real damage being dealt on the CT is with Brutavius and his blasts, so cooldown reduction and cost are the only things I care about. As you could probably tell, you need to be cycling through all of your summons constantly to get their full benefit, so building with a decent curse technique bar regeneration is kind of required. You can't just sit back and relax, you have to be extremely active on the CT to get everything out of it. I love the options available with this ability, and here's the build I use on Manipulator. I can stack anything with my summons, and it kinda saves me from many of my punishable moves I have, which is very solid for a Manipulator. Anyway, check out some fights where I use the Grief Wardens and show you what I do to break the game. Even in this fight, I'm fighting against a guy with Watcher that can really rush me down, but it doesn't really matter since Grief Warden is always going to save me if I set it up before, and yeah, those blasts I'm looking for, they're all pretty defensive. Most of my playstyle revolves around playing neutral and trying to snipe people with my ranged attacks or any of my grabs, but offensively, after I catch him, I can swap to the Baby to get some HP, or even Brutavius if I want to knock him away, but it's all about burst damage with this build, and using Grief Wardens, that kind of rounds off some of my issues. Playing Swing Manipulator is super punishable, but if you catch people, you're gonna do insane damage, and just by having almost 1 to 2 defensive units to save me in any situation, that is so powerful, and there's nothing in the game that allows me to do that. The Grief Warden CT is all about adapting to the situation instead of just having a combo starter or something brain dead. It's kind of those things that you really have to use in moderation. Like, this is not gonna work in every situation. You gotta adapt and pick the right summon for the job. While other CTs can combo start or combo extend, this is probably gonna save you from some of your blind spots and extend off interactions that you've already won, and it's really powerful if you play that neutral game. Just by having summons on the field, you have that pressure that you don't even have to use. So people are gonna be afraid of 3 different options that are kind of balanced, nothing too crazy, but just having your Grief Wardens on the field is kind of a mix-up. Oh, he's cooked. Sorry about that, but we gotta go. Fighting against players that don't know how to swap through their summons or are so reliant on just one, you know, it fully removes the possibility from the CT. I mean, you have so many reasons to be swapping, you have so many payoffs, like just keeping on one, like this guy, he's stuck on one, it's not gonna do well, it's gonna be very, you're limiting. With maxed out cooldown, you basically have 0 downtime with the CD, since every single summon has a separate cooldown, and this is crazy. So that means I can use Brutavius with his blast, I can swap to the baby, and I can also do my evasive, but if I'm stuck on one, I'm only gonna have one thing and it's gonna have an insane cooldown. Utilizing a preemptive strike from Brutavius to get me out of combos or even Dinell to just remove me, like this would have saved this guy multiple times. On the other hand, during this fight, I'm fighting against the pure opposite of my build. This is an insane combo rushdown sort of thing. He's using the Hunter CT, which mutes his audio, which instantly mixes me up. He's kind of invisible, and he can summon a clone that can be evasive and just applies a lot of pressure, but you have to use your abilities to catch him and kind of clear your blind spots. In many of these interactions, I don't even know where he is, so I'm just charging up my moves while stacking on some pressure from Brutavius or my evasives. Like, I'm literally just charging up burst or charging up my blast and hoping it's going to apply pressure while my summons can, you know, deal with him, and this is working. It's worth noting that many of these highly aggressive builds have to invest specifically in their build, so they might have low awareness and can't take block pressure, or have low efficiency, forcing them to charge up just like this guy, and you can kind of punish them for that since your build is so well rounded and so safe due to the summons. The only unfortunate downside about this is that, you know, the CT doesn't really deal insane damage, it just kind of saves you and gives you opportunities to, you know, deal more damage with your build, but yeah, that's what you're doing with the CT. It's more about staying safe, you know, instead of quick dropping players with instant damage. I will admit the catching potential is kind of insane with Grief Wardens, since if they run away, you can catch them with the baby, or you can just snipe them with Brutavius and his ranged move, and understanding the battlefield and where you and your summons are, it's very good to abuse your environment. I'd say that Grief Wardens is probably one of the best CTs in the entire game for zoning. I'm not talking about like range spam, but I am talking about zoning like from mid-range and neutral. It is so unmatched for that, since you have so many options just to pressure people and, you know, save you from bad interactions. If you like move stacking, if you like setting up combos, and you just like zone control, Grief Wardens is probably the most fun you can have in this game. At the end of the day, Grief Wardens aren't for everyone, but they're extremely fun if you can optimize your playstyle. So I'm a huge fan of this curse technique, and it's one of my favorites, but let me know what you want to see next. Try it out for yourself, and give me your thoughts down below. Thanks once again to all the supporters who motivate me daily and directly help out the channel, because it means a lot. If you want to join as a member for my channel, go down below, but besides that, my personal Discord and my UGC group are linked down below, so check them out. Thanks once again, and make sure to like and subscribe. It's punching time.